Well, hello there. My name is Dave Vila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, and national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and the responsibilities of those making the comments and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of the accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of Larry Curly or Schmo is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the program, the topics, and please participate. Ladies and gentlemen, Easter Sunday will be tomorrow. And those of you viewers who maybe like Brother Sean's sausage, okay, can obtain some of Brother Sean's sausage right after the 7:30 Mass tomorrow morning in downstairs of St. Stan's.
This is Friday. That'll be not tomorrow, but Sunday morning.
Sunday. Yeah.
Easter Sunday.
Well, I'm talking as if this is Saturday morning.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
I hope you got that.
Easter Sunday.
These guys...
Easter Sunday.
Prepared notes are meaningless to this particular panel because no matter what I say, just like my wife, no matter what I say, I don't say it properly. No, it's just maybe people are not listening to me properly.
Your wife has stated it before.
All right. Anyway, after Sunday Mass at 7:30, after 7:30 Mass at St. Stan's, you go downstairs and gouge yourself with Brother Sean's frozen sausage. He will be selling, or someone will be down in the basement selling from 7:30 till 1 o'clock Easter Sunday. Gentlemen, the show is yours.
Well, let me start by saying to everybody, Happy Easter, Happy Passover. It will be a very nice celebration on Easter. And I know that the Cardinal from New York, Timothy Dolan, he always talks about Good Friday, but that's just the lead up to Easter Sunday when it's a major celebration of the life of Jesus and what he did for us. So with that, let me start because of the time situation. We're going to talk about where early voting is, and it starts on April the 7th. The last day to register will be April the 6th. That's a Monday. April the 7th is a Tuesday. There will be 2 early voting sites open on April the 7th. One will be in Michigan City on the corner of 8th and Wabash, the old county building there. The other one will be at the LaPorte County Fairgrounds. They will be open on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday from 8 to 4 and on Wednesdays from 6 to 10. So they have 8-hour days. Later on April the 21st, we will have 2 more early voting sites open. Those will be in Wanata at the City Hall and in Rolling Prairie at the Wills Township Community Facility. They will be open on April 21st with the same hours. And with that, if you haven't registered, you got Monday to do it. If you're going to vote early, you don't have to go to your precinct to vote. You can go into any one of these sites and bring your identification. You will need a government-issued identification. Driver's license works very well, but if it's a government-issued identification, it has to have your picture on it. And with that, I thought I'd start out and make Dave real happy because we have some very nice situations going on Franklin Street and 421. And I thought I'd talk about those because I haven't really talked very much, but we have developed one fantastic retail area from the north part of Franklin Street, where the library is, all the way down to I-94. But some things that are happening now. Number one, the old Fifth Third Bank building, which has been vacant for about 4 to 5 years, is in the process of being restored. It's my understanding that another bank has bought it. They will be opening there. That should provide maybe 10, 15 jobs, hopefully. And hopefully they will be open by the 1st of July. The next thing I want to talk about is the apartment complex called the Franklin That's on 11th Street and on 11th Street and Franklin Street. They expect to be completed by July. They hope to be able to take reservations for the 220 apartment complex that's going in there in July and have people moving in August. Another huge positive for Franklin Street. In addition to that, at the Franklin, there will be 5,700 square feet of retail space, probably a restaurant and one or two other situations. Now, Marquette Mall, one of Dave's favorites. It is well, first of all, there was two rumors around Michigan City. One that was Marquette Mall was bought by the Franciscans, and the other one that it was bought by Ton and Blank. Well, frankly, the Franciscans owned Ton and Blank,
Yeah.
so this was a situation
Not much different.
where either one was correct. It's my understanding that one of the last major problems they had to be resolved has been resolved. That was with the old Sears Roebuck complex. Apparently there was a different owner in there. It took a while, but I guess the Franciscans have now
They
got
bought that.
settled.
Eddie Lampert.
Oh.
Eddie Lampert bought Sears and sold off everything, like the name brands, Die Hard, Craftsman, and that. He kept all the real estate, so Eddie Lampert owned, he's a, what do you call that? An equity fund manager.
Yeah.
On the order of Warren Buffett, billionaire.
But apparently that
So
is,
he has sold that.
Yeah,
That
he's
is now
now-
under the possession of Ton and Blank.
yeah. So as a result of that, that's been resolved. There are a couple of other problems there. I guess in one way you could look at this, it's kind of nice to have it. You just got to figure out how you're going to resolve it. But there are 2 or 3 facilities that want to remain in the old Marquette complex. So as a result of that, they're trying to see if they can figure out a way they can tear down the building without affecting these 2 or 3
Well, the
situations that want to remain.
Visitors Bureau,
Is
the
one.
Planet Fitness,
Yep.
the
Is another.
GNC, the Asian Fusion, and there's one more in there. Those are not, that building is not owned by Ton and Blank.
Okay.
That is owned by another owner. He owns that part, the east side of the mall. Now, I don't know if Ton and Blank's looking at it, but they don't own that piece. So that, and it can be a standalone, like you said. One of
Yep.
the problems is taking the roof out of the walkway, because that is a standalone building, just like Sears and Penny's and Carson's and the Tower. Those are standalone buildings. They just have the roof connected to them, so they got to figure out how to cut the roof off and let that be a standalone building.
But the nice part about it is getting resolved.
Oh, yes.
Now, the last part of this is, on the southwest side of Michigan City, we know there's a water problem. Working on that water problem, obviously, because they intend to redo the entire tower. That will be medical facilities for doctors and dentists to have their offices there. In addition to that, there will also be other facilities that they're planning on putting there that goes along with the Franciscans and what they do with their hospital on the south side of town. We are going to have one of the best construction companies in the state of Indiana working on this water problem. So I'm more interested in seeing how that goes. And I think if anybody can come up with a solution to this, or at least a partial solution to this, it's going to be Ton and Blank.
Well, the beauty of the water problem that Ton and Blank has at the mall is they're taking away roof. So you will have less water at the mall, because once you take away roof, you'll probably have some grass and some other areas that we don't have at the mall, because we all know when the mall was done, designed in the 60s, built in late 60s, there was way, way too much parking. The engineers designed far too much parking when they did back in the day. So there'll be less hard surface and roof, and it'll be less water.
Yeah, so as a result of that, we should have less water problems, we think.
Yeah.
Now, the last one, further down on 421, I understand that there is a potential proposal for one of the franchise restaurants that has been closed or abandoned, however you want to look at it, for the last 3 or 4 years. It hasn't been sold yet, but there is apparently, they're looking at some appraisals, and there's an entity that's looking to make a potential bid on that. We got a lot of good things happening.
Which one?
What? I can't talk about it. I told
Red Lobster's crew car wash that's stuck in BZA.
Well, I can't talk about it.
And the old Howard Johnson's is Drive and Shine, which I don't know where they're at.
Well, anyway,
That's what
one of the old restaurant franchises, the proposal has, from what I'm told, has not been accepted, but they are working on it. what I'm really saying is Michigan City has become a fantastic retail outlet for a population of 26,500 if you don't count the prison. Pretty hard to count the prison because they're just not able to go out and participate in this retail area. We are competing with Valparaiso. We are competing with South Bend. LaPorte, we have just totally run over. And we keep talking, well, LaPorte County. LaPorte is the next biggest city, but the retail area in LaPorte, based on the retail situation in Michigan City, is so much smaller and not able to really handle the types of retail outlets that we have. Dave, it's all yours.
Well, Michigan City, we have made great strides. But
We've made great strides.
But we are so far behind. Michigan City is blessed with something nearly no other town is blessed with. We have the beach and we have I-94. And everything between there, Michigan City has a lot more. But it should be, I'll tell you, it should be tenfold more than what we have. Because nonsense gets in the way. I mean, when a great company, Ton & Blanket, the sisters buy the mall, I would have expected, and I would see this in the city of LaPorte, I would expect the administration to be wholeheartedly supportive and can you do it now? Can you get this built in 3 months? What do you need? But it doesn't happen in Michigan City. As I said, the Crew Car Wash, I understand, is stuck in the BZA. Should it have ever been stuck in the BZA for another month? That's a big company.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world that we should not embrace, like LaPorte City does, wholeheartedly, instead of getting in the way. We got to check all the boxes, Bob. We got to cross all the T's. Wait, it's going to take me a while to do all the I's. I got to do another. It's a change of use. I got to do that. You got to go to the BZA. Well, now you got to go to the Plan Commission. Wait, the inspector's got to go. I mean, I can tell you, it's endless. So Michigan City is blessed with 94 and the beach
And US,
and everything
and
between
US
there,
20,
and US 20, and everything between there. And we still find a way. I mean, we almost lost Walmart. We lost the thing over there on 94 and 49. We lost what could have been the sports store.
You're talking Bass
Bass Pro Shops. And this is not one administration. This is decades of administrations, and I don't know how you fix it. If this restaurant thing's coming in, they should, from the moment they said we want in, if it's a good company, like hopefully Marriott was for the hotel, we should say, you got it. Can you start this next month? And they'll say, well, we got these approvals. Don't worry about the approvals. We know you'll do them. Here's the checklist. You'll do the approvals. But please just get moving. Pay the permit. Let's go. We're not going to sit here and wait for the approvals, which Michigan City does, and most municipalities, over and over and over again. That's why, we don't like to keep saying it, but the city of LaPorte does not do that. They get things going, but they don't have 94 and they don't have Lake Michigan. So
you have to operate with the assets that you have.
And Michigan City's got the best assets.
Time out. One of the biggest assets LaPorte has is the county seat. Now, their parking regulations are ridiculous. You got a 2-hour parking limit. If you're on a jury in LaPorte County, you got to get up and run out of there to move your car, for crying out loud. And you want to talk about regulation? You get that one fixed.
Yeah, I've pitched to move that county seat out of downtown because that's not an asset. I mean, it does bring people in, but wow, you go down there on a summer day and you stand around those blocks and you see what happens around that courthouse and that jail. Not a very good asset. Now they should move that out to the side of town, over to the county ground somewhere. It's cheaper, it's better, you'll save money, but LaPorte has Pine Lake Avenue and they have Lincoln Way. And those are, you guys seen those, those are horrible roads. They are traffic overrun, nasty. No one wants to be on those roads. Stoplight after stoplight, there's no parking, your mirror gets torn off. But Michigan City is sitting on a diamond in the rough, and we've been sitting on a diamond in the rough since you guys have been in council, because before that we were, what did we have? We had amusement park on the beach, we had explosive downtown, we had manufacturing, people, great jobs, and then all of a sudden and in my days, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, just quagmire.
We lost the manufacturing.
And wait, you said the Franklin on 11th Street?
Yeah.
I can make a prediction about the Franklin on 11th Street. Look at that in 10 years. What happened to this great, beautiful, and go read the articles, go to the library, read the articles, this great, beautiful new thing we're going to do called Franklin Square. Oh, we tore it out. Didn't work. And now we're going to put apartments in. Oh, what happened to the apartments on the boulevard?
All right, now,
Tore them out.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah,
May I have an opportunity? May
on
I have an
major
opportunity?
Go ahead, bring it on.
May I have an opportunity to speak without
No.
being interrupted?
Go ahead.
I have said for years, Michigan City has to take a new attitude.
Well, they have to get out of their own way.
Get out of their own way. I have discovered a map of the Trail Creek watershed that Michigan City is under a little bitty section of the Trail Creek watershed. Second Ward, Third Ward, Fourth Ward, that is also in the confines of Michigan City, are not included in this particular watershed. This particular, from 421 west, is being ignored by the sanitary district. The sanitary district is under an MS4 edict. That edict mandates them to clean out ditches for the entire city, not just for a specific area east of the City Hall in downtown Michigan City. The Michigan City Sanitary District is responsible, according to the law, that if you have dedicated ditches under MS4, you must clean them out. The laws are on the books. They've been on the books since the early 80s and the 70s when Bob was on the council, and they have been ignored. We're talking about progress in Michigan City. If the entire city of Michigan City is not under the same umbrella, how can a community enhance their position when you only have it's called, when I was on the council, it was called spot zoning. The sanitary district is under the impression of spot zoning and kowtowing down to the redevelopment commission and any gigantic idea like they had with SOLA that fell through. What we have to do to start Michigan City is start from scratch and include all of the wards in Michigan City under this umbrella. You're talking about progress here and progress there. Progress, it has to be progress in the entire city, not just a selective area that the sanitary district wants to improve some sewage to a vacant piece of land. It's pathetic that that board just sits there and kowtows down to some futuristic ideas that never materialize. I've got the I call it the Valparaiso Moraine. I've got the landmass there.
You ought to tell them what the Valparaiso Moraine
The
is.
Valparaiso,
It's a major watershed.
basically the Valparaiso Moraine is anything that is basically south of 421 going west.
The toll road. Toll road going north.
Toll road. Here again, this is the pictures. These are the pictures. And if you look in this upper little bitty area that encompasses Michigan City, right here, then there's Trail Creek and everything else. This area is what the sanitary district believes. I personally, honestly believe that they are under the jurisdiction of the Trail Creek watershed, and that's not true. The Trail Creek watershed encompasses areas south of 94, all the way down to the toll road. Okay, what we've got is we've got a group of individuals sitting there dictating policy on property that they have no jurisdiction over.
Maybe LaPorte, with their sanitary district and their water department, ought to be servicing some of those parts on the other side of the Valparaiso Moraine. Now, you were born and raised there. You moved to Michigan City, obviously, because you can make more money. Now, you're still making more money. When are you going to go to LaPorte and tell them, hey, your sanitary district has got to start taking care of this. Your water department has got to start taking care of this.
My roots have been here in Michigan City since 1970. I feel that I've contributed to the support of the church here in Michigan City more often than I've contributed for my life, 15, 16 years in Michigan, in LaPorte. The town I live in needs to take a new attitude. And when all of the research that I've done.
How about LaPorte taking a new attitude?
Who cares?
They can take care of
the water problem doesn't exist in LaPorte. The water problem exists. The water problem existed when I bought my first house on Buffalo and Russell Street, and every time it rained, I had water like a cow pissing on a flat rock going into my basement. And
I want to go back to your guys', when you were on the council, with this map explains a lot. Where was the growth back in the 50s and 60s? What was the main corridor that all the growth was happening? Because you guys in the council did some great moves south on 421,
Yeah.
right, with the airport. So all your growth was down the boulevard in this Trail Creek, including, because you see the map, it's hard to see, that even downtown was in this Trail Creek
I would-
watershed.
I
But
got a
now
big-
the growth, the growth that Bob is talking about is on the west side, and we have to fix that stormwater drainage because now all the growth.
We need a storm sewer.
And we need a
Can
storm sewer.
somebody say that?
Well, we need a
Instead
storm
of going
sewer.
in there and with a pitchfork and trying to bail out these ditches, we need to fix the whole thing, and that's a storm sewer.
But that's why they spent, and I think that's why they're stuck in this mindset that the growth is happening east of town, down the boulevard corridor, which they're looking at again. So somehow, and that's,
Well,
I don't know what to say about
well,
that,
that's
but now
what-
they're looking at
I-
redeveloping the boulevard because somehow it's dead to the wind now too.
Well, what was the boulevard is really an economic plus. If you went down there this winter, I could not believe how many people were in those restaurants. That is working. That Franklin Street north.
No, the
11th
boulevard.
Street. Oh, you're talking Michigan Boulevard.
Michigan Boulevard.
Okay.
I mean, Michigan Boulevard, again, I'm not going to say who it was, and I don't know what happened to it, but there was somebody who'd like to put a restaurant over at the Eastgate Plaza down the boulevard.
Yeah.
That's probably dead to the wind, and I would venture to say why, because, oh wait, here, I got to dot all my I's and cross my T's. Did I check this box? Did I make sure these people, I think it's, I hope the Marriott is still going on, but I think it's very indicative when people come to the redevelopment commission meeting and ask them to take the fences down at the You Are Beautiful site, because obviously it's been dead in the water. And I chuckled a little bit, even though it's kind of sad. They were kind of right. Isn't it time to take the fence down on the grass field that supposedly nothing's happening?
Well, the boulevard, the growth there.
The boulevard got killed because of the
Well,
planters and
it's not killed. Let me say a little bit.
you guys are muzzling me on a daily basis.
Yeah, well, let me
The
talk
sanitary
about the
district,
boulevard.
the sanitary district handles flood control, stormwater, and maintenance for drainage infrastructure
Wait.
for the entire city.
no, it says selective, right?
No, sorry. Oh,
Selectively handles.
there are laws on the books. MS4 is
That's a water quality.
that's
not
the water
quantity.
quality. And it also talks about the separation of stormwater system, MS4 program, which
Well, they're
manages
separate, they just don't work.
manages
Finally got around to
stormwater
doing that on
runoff
the west
drainage.
side, by the way.
Here's the key word, which manages stormwater runoff drainage citywide, not just the upper 6th ward of Michigan City. I'm just saying the sanitary district has to owe up to their responsibilities or disband. Maybe that's the situation. Maybe they just disband because they're not following MS4 edict, they're not following state law edict, they're not doing their just reward for the taxpayers of Michigan City.
For 100 years, Michigan City has had an outstanding sanitation department and an outstanding water department.
Well, then what's going on now? Why is this? What's this issue that I've been talking about for the last
Because you've
6
got a
years?
simple issue that unfortunately they, for whatever reason, don't seem to be able to resolve it on who's going to clean out those ditches. But let me put it this way.
Tony's got the solution to that.
Well, let me,
Weren't you on a drainage board?
Yeah, the LaPorte County Drainage Board cleans ditches all the time. And
well,
Michigan
then give
City,
it back to LaPorte County.
well, what's his name? Mike, what was his name? Sanitary District.
Mike Cuss.
Mike Cuss, and bless his heart, he put out a bid for the white ditch, and the spec was so huge that the prices came outrageously high. Because, and Michigan City would wonder how LaPorte County and any drainage board in the state of Indiana seems to.
You got to tell them where White Ditch is.
White ditch is over at Michiana Shores, out 212 Tryon Road, right? So they don't understand how it's possible for drainage boards in the state of Indiana to get ditches cleaned compared to municipalities who, again, they got books and books of rules and regulations that you can't get past to clean a ditch. Yeah, if you give it back to the drainage board, I would wager that they'd clean it out. I guarantee you, everyone would be upset and mad because, I'm not on the drainage board and not county surveyor, but before I left, we released a program to clean the White Ditch in Michiana Shores because it's under the LaPorte County Drainage Board's jurisdiction. And they got a bid, and it's a very good contractor. He's done it 4 times in my career. Very good guy, takes care of things, but people were up in arms as soon as they found out they're going to clean that ditch again. And it took them almost a year to work through telling the people that we're going to clean the ditch. We're not going to stop, but what do you want us to do with the spoils that come out? Because it's sand. And you can't tell us, no, we're not putting it in your yard, because that is where we put it. And you know what? I think this few months ago, it got cleaned. And it looks beautiful. And the grass is growing again. So you're going to have, every time you clean a ditch, I don't care where you're at, in a farm field, a metropolitan area, you're going to have people come out, some rightly so, worried about they're going to tear up their yard, but their yard is in an easement. So Michigan City, in my estimation, could have just copied any drainage board's specifications, LaPorte, St. Joe, copy anyone's, Porter County even, and you probably could have got a bid that was within the money that you had to clean the ditch. But we didn't do that, so White Ditch still hasn't been cleaned.
Let me give you 2 suggestions. Number one, when you got an appointment, I guess April 22nd with the sanitation board, get a estimate on what it's going to cost to clean out these ditches, because I don't think the sanitation department has the people to go in and do it. They're going to have
no one does.
they're going to have to hire somebody to do it, probably some kind of a landscape service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'll give you another thought. Why don't you talk to them about mid-August, when all of these ponds are dried up and a lot of other places are dried up? Talk about talking to the Michigan City Fire Department and see if they would do a controlled burn to get rid of the sticks,
Invasive species.
and that type of thing on these ditches. Our fire department has done controlled burns in a lot of places for quite some time. See if they would be willing to do a controlled burn, which we could then find out what that would cost versus what it's going to cost to hire some landscape service to clean this out. And then I'll give you another one. Once you get that controlled burn over with, you're going to have sediment left in there. Go to LaPorte County and see if they would let the prisoners, the ones that are good prisoners, in the LaPorte County jail system come in, pay them, because they got to have a way to make some money to pick out the sediment that was left after the controlled burn. Now you got to start thinking out of the box if you're ever going to get this done. Now I don't know if that'll work, but it's something to talk about.
When I have pictures over the last 6 years of the accumulation of silt in these ditches from the waterfall. See, the Indiana Department of Highway, they lowered the culvert under Highway 23 foot to accommodate the water from the Ohio Street South project. So that ground area was lowered 3 foot under Ohio Street, but then as it flows to the old Monon track railroad base, there is roughly a 5 to 6 foot waterfall that goes then down to almost the level of Strebel Pond. I'm just saying that there are impediments and impediments that are preventing a basic normal flow of water downstream that falls under the jurisdiction of MS4 and the water quality flow down the stream. When Strebel Pond is, in my mind, 60 foot higher than the level of Lake Michigan, and there are impediments in the water flow going down to the level of Lake Michigan, there is a problem, and that problem is under the jurisdiction of the Michigan City Sanitary District, who's got to do their job. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you're looking at, since it hasn't been done in the 70s, you're looking at a massive project.
Yeah.
And no one will go through and do a project of that sort. You're talking at least $500,000, probably $1 million. You'd have to break, even the drainage boards don't do this, go statewide. They pick segments and they work on them every year. So your first year would be Ohio to 20, your second year would be from 20 to Earl. Your next section would be from Earl to Hitchcock, and then Hitchcock to County Line. And I think Michigan City has to say, okay, A, we're willing to do this, B, we're willing to set aside this many dollars, and C, we're going to ask for a specification for this project, because if anyone knows this area, you're right, you have to clear a bunch of brush off because we haven't cleared it off. Either cut it or burn it, treat it so it doesn't grow back up, and then you have to, you should be able to take the spoils from this ditch that hasn't been cleaned and pile them up on the bank there. So trucking it off, I think the cost is outrageous, which is what happened to White Ditch. The trucking cost to haul it off
You
somewhere
gotta find a place.
is outrageous. Oh, we could find a place. I mean, we've got a bunch of ground out off of Hitchcock. There's plenty of place to put this kind of stuff. But we have to look. You can't take, how do you eat an elephant a bite at a time? You can't just go for the whole enchilada here. You're going to have to pick these sections. And even if you take those sections and do it in half, and again, you're right, in August, you go out there when there's really no water, and you start cleaning, you dig these ditches out, and you put it on the bank. It's sand. Your silt is probably really nice beach sand. It's probably not contaminated. So you put that up there, and then by the time fall rolls around, you've got grass growing again. And again, you want to make sure you treat that. That's what the drainage boards do the best. So I think it's, I don't know, 50 cents or $1 a foot to have somebody come spray and kill the weeds. And drainage boards do this every year. They do a weed control program on all their ditches. They make sure they keep them clean because they don't want trees growing up that are expensive to cut, and they want the invasives dead, and they want the native species growing well. So first thing the Michigan City have to do, which is probably the best thing, is spend all your money in getting rid of the invasive species by spraying all the banks. Get them ready, and they can run excavators down there and clean the ditches in each section, and then put it up on the pile. Now the weird thing is people think you want to clean from the bottom, from the outlet to the top. You don't want to do that because as you clean, it keeps flowing down to where you clean. So you want to clean from the top going down to the bottom, so you don't keep pouring, you have the area you cleaned out get filled with more silt.
And that is why I said that where the waterfall is, there's a 5 to 6 foot drop. That when they allowed the Monon track to be excavated out so that the water could flow through it, that's where it starts. The state of Indiana lowered the culvert under Highway 20 3 foot. That allowed the accumulated water to come down and gush down to make the water flow, the torrent over the water flow, even greater. That is the first impediment that prevents the water from going down to Kinsel Ditch or Strebel Pond. Kinsel Ditch is a court-dedicated waterway that is mandated by law to be cleaned by the sanitary district under the MS4 jurisdiction. They're not doing their job. Now, if you want to go for the waterfall, next time you're out to Strebel Pond, all right, go to the southeast corner of Strebel Pond where the road sort of curves, and then walk back over the dirt a little bit. If you've got a bicycle, there's piles of dirt back there, and you'll eventually get to the waterfall where there's a nice, beautiful little pond under the waterfall. It really looks nice for all of the tree huggers out there, but there's an accumulation of water there which is higher than the level of Strebel Pond to begin with. Then you come a little bit further down, then you got Strebel Pond, which is a gigantic retention pond holding the water back. You continue to hold the water back, and then that water runs to the point of least resistance, and those are the people in the Village Green area and the Ramona, or the cottage, I can't think of the name of that. Anyway, it runs into their crawl spaces.
Southwood, Southgate.
That whole particular area that is encompassed in west of 421. It is a problem that encompasses 3 wards of the city of Michigan City. Don't you think that in those 3 wards, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, don't you think taxpayers live there? Don't you think they pay for basic city services that they're not getting? It's not for me. When I get a torrential downpour, I get water in my basement, and I'm up on top of the hill because of this backup. There's 7 backups before the water gets down to the Black Ditch in Porter County. That is pathetic on a designated, court-designated stream. Everything that I did research, it is court-designated.
Yeah.
And they got to do it, and they're not doing it. Is that what we're paying taxes for?
I'm going to tell you again and again and again, if you don't get that storm sewer in there, we're going to be doing this 50 years from now. Our grandkids will be in there arguing about this.
100 years. 1,000
I'll
years.
take him 100 years.
1,000
We
years.
have got to get that storm sewer in there, and I'm one of these guys that when you start to dig a hole for a storm sewer, you include sanitary sewers and water. You don't want to dig 3 holes and put the lines in 3 different ways. So as a result of that, you got to start to figure out how we do this and how we get those lines in there and what it's going to cost to do that. Now, maybe you start it incrementally. So you go up to, say,
Well,
Hitchcock.
first you got to have a plan.
Yeah, well, I agree there. Well, that's what I said.
And that'll cost $1 million, maybe 2. I'll bet you some consultant will get $2
Well,
million.
find out what the bonding capacity is.
That's right. There's your funding mechanism.
Find out what the funding, find out what the bonding situation is with the sanitary district. How much do they have available to bond? And then the kinds of sewers that we're going to need in there.
Now, to be specific, is there a physical, actual dollar amount that City of Michigan City gets from the county?
I thought it was 500,000, but we need to check it.
We need to check it. We need to check it because,
The auditor can tell us that.
pardon me?
The auditor can tell us that number.
Mike
Yeah.
Mike Schultz?
Mike or Joey Winsky.
Mike Rosenbaum.
Mike Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum,
Mike
okay.
Rosenbaum or Joey Winsky can tell us that they write that check every year.
Wouldn't the sanitary district have it on their books?
Yep.
Well, they probably know what their bonding
Yeah,
capacity
you probably go
is.
to the portal. And yeah, then they got the bonding capacity.
Yeah.
The same.
You got 2 funds. What's funny about your map, and we've talked about this before, what's
Yeah.
really funny about this map, and again, lots of smarter engineers have been before us. This map shows 421, and it shows the little finger going out here into like the Greenwood Cemetery area.
Yeah.
So Michigan City, in its ultimate wisdom, and all this water that's draining, and you're talking Village Green,
Give me that to Bob.
you take Village Green, and you take all that area there about Ohio and Earl. Michigan City has piped all that storm water all the way, you got a map, all the way through Michigan City, through by the cemetery, all the way over to a ditch over there in Trail Creek.
There's this.
We have, and that's why Dave keeps saying water runs uphill in Michigan City. We have worked against Mother Nature, and we're talking Village Green, Ohio and Earl, all that water, you can look at the maps, these are available publicly, all that water flows across Franklin, past the Greenwood Cemetery, over by Queen of All Saints. That's where we are putting all this water today.
Now, for those of you, you might not be able to identify, but there is a blue line. I can't see it. There is a blue line that starts here that identifies where the West Side watershed is. All the way up to Elk Street, East Barker. That's in the Earl Road, Wabash, York, Elm. All of that
And that's the area you're talking about, you live,
Yes.
that was flooding.
That was flooding.
And
Yeah.
it's still flooding today because
It's still-
we built a $12 million tunnel we haven't used either.
Tunnel to nowhere. Yeah. Again, somebody has to take a new attitude because the direction that the city is going, in my mind, is spot zoning to whatever people consider the most profitable project, similar to solar. How many millions of dollars has been spent on solar for absolutely nothing? There might have been enough money in there to start this particular project to make the second, third, and fourth ward buildable or habitable for new people to move in or new businesses to move in. The Redevelopment Commission, through Clarence Holtz, brought in a trailer company to Earl Road and Highway 20, not Earl Road, Hitchcock and Highway 20. They were there for 6 months, and then they had to pump the property out because it flooded with water. Again, and you got one stupid thing after another stupid thing after another stupid thing. If the ditches were cleaned, if some form of what you're talking about existed, then that trailer company wouldn't have to argue about who's going to pump out my property because my semis are being flooded all over the place. It's stupid. It is literally stupid.
I want to go to another solution. Okay, this is Easter weekend, a lot of travel, spring breaks come up in Michigan City, right? A lot of people traveling. And we still have a problem with the TSA, Transportation Safety Administration. And I talked about this before, some people commented, and I briefly touched on it a couple weeks ago. that some people in the commenters, who I think were right, were wondering why everyone pays to run the TSA through the federal government. Why wouldn't the airline passengers run the TSA? So it didn't take me long to do a quick analysis of the number of people that fly on a plane every year in the United States. It's about 1 billion, a little over a billion. Well, the TSA's budget is $11.8 billion. So what's 1 billion times $10?
Well, you're going to get 10 billion.
10 billion. So if every airline passenger would pay $10 on their ticket, we would pay the TSA, take them out of the Congresses, it would be privately run through the airlines. It can be oversighted by the government, but then we would take this whole discussion away, and if somebody's going to complain about $10 on their airline ticket, which costs hundreds of dollars now, and they don't want to be secure, then let them complain. But we could, I don't know why this administration, I think of any administration, the Trump administration, would privatize the TSA and put it back in the hands of the airlines. And they could still run and make sure the TSA agents are still certified. They could still do that. But if they have they need 11 billion to run the TSA, and there's 1 billion passengers, times $10 is $10 billion. I think we could run the TSA in the private world and get rid of this nonsense where the TSA agents are being held hostage and not getting a paycheck. That needs to stop. I don't care what party you're on. That needs to not ever happen.
I agree with that. The only problem you'd have to work this one out is if you get people that have to be arrested in that line with the TSA, then you'd have to have.
Well, the private security,
Right,
TSA, they would call.
You'd have to have, I would say, the FBI.
They would call we
Yeah.
still have, what do you call them? The guys that are quietly on airplanes to make sure they're safe.
Yeah, you have airplane marshals.
Airplane marshals. You would get an airplane marshal, or in every airport there are city and county and municipal
Yeah,
police.
you'd have to solve that problem.
They would come over there and they would help you arrest, just like we do in any other security agency anywhere in America, private or public. So I don't know why we can't solve this. This seems easy. I don't know why the administration says, okay, we're done fighting about this. We want these people to get paid. We're going to say, airlines, you charge $10 for every ticket. You have your own TSA. You pay them. The Congress does not have to prove this anymore. They're going to get paid for doing their job. We're not going to hold them hostage.
All right, I want to change the subject, okay? Employee lockout, okay? NIPSCO locked out their employees. They made what, $900
million.
$900 million.
Almost $1 billion.
Almost $1 billion.
But they're investor owned. Do you own NIPSCO stock?
Yeah, I
Do
do.
you own NIPSCO stock?
The stock hasn't went up. The value hasn't went up that much.
No,
So they're beholden to the stockholders, Dave.
I own stock in it.
I don't own any.
I'm just saying.
That's good. Huh?
But you're right. They almost made $1 billion.
When you are an employee of some entity, you look at that entity as your paycheck. You know, you devote your time 10, 15, 20 years to that company.
These employees aren't like in a factory, which is hard to do, putting things together. These guys are up on a pole and electric and storms and tornadoes and hail. These guys are out there in the worst weather.
Yeah.
And they're sometimes on call.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that you start as a tenderfoot in a NIPSCO program and you work your way up. You deserve a decent paycheck. And again, Bob already has a comment opposed to this. But when you have
opposed to that.
when you have subcontractors being paid more than the employees working for this almost $1 billion a year profit company, when they're paying the subcontractors more money to get the work done, and they reduce their workforce, you got a problem there. And in my mind, that says that this guy making what? How much? $20 million a year, whatever he's making.
Yeah, 20-some million.
He cares more about the subcontractors than he cares about the employees who built the business.
I think he's worried about the investors and the stockholders more than he's worried about the workers, which is backwards, because if you don't want to make your workers happy, you're not going to make any money, and then the investors are going to get happy. I think he needs to rethink about what he's looking at, because without these workers, you're not going to have a very well-run system.
Let's talk about NIPSCO's long-term problems and one that has just come up. Part of the problem that NIPSCO currently has is they're going to have to rebuild a whole lot of the solar field that they had down at Wheatfield because a tornado Then some high winds came in and basically blew the whole thing out.
Well, I hope they have insurance.
Well, I don't know, but let me tell you where we're at. As I understand it, they possibly could get this thing, if they can get everything they need, rebuilt by maybe the end of May, first part of June.
And it's got a bolt new panels on.
But as a result of that, they've got to be able to get workers down there. We have a significant deficiency in electrical types of workers. So NIPSCO goes to subcontractors who can get electrical workers that are qualified, and they hire electrical workers that are qualified. A year ago, I know this because I got a grandson that's involved in this situation, they had 780 electrical workers, journeyman electricians, working on the prison. You couldn't hire another journeyman electrician. The problem right now is NIPSCO's ability to be able to hire the people. Now, some of these subcontractors, they'll come in and work for NIPSCO, they'll come in and work for others. So as a result of that, they can keep these employees going, and so they hire them, and NIPSCO needs qualified electricians, so they hire them. But let me talk about one of the main problems now. NIPSCO wanted to shut down 2 coal-fired plants, one at Schaefer Lake and another one close to Schaefer Lake. The environmentalists were all for this. NIPSCO was all for this. The federal government just came in and said, you can't do it. You have to take out of mothballs what you've already put in, and you've got to have these running because there is not enough electrical generation in this area to handle the summer with the air conditioning needs and that type of needs. It is now, one of those generators was not fully taken out of service. It was still partially in service, so that's not going to be near as expensive. One of those generators coming out of service is going to cost NIPSCO an estimated $100 million.
It's not going to cost NIPSCO.
What?
It's going to cost us.
Well, somebody.
We're going to pay another $100 million.
Okay, somebody's going to pay $100 million
We're going to pay.
to put that thing back in service.
Yep.
So when you say $900 million, there's $100 million right there. In addition to that, when you look at that $900 million, a lot of that money goes for installing new plant and equipment. And they have to keep up technology-wise with what's going on in the rest of the world, although they are a much smaller electric utility, which is why I keep saying the solution to this is not just beating on NIPSCO. The solution is to see about a merger or an acquisition by AEP. In this area, it's called INM. Actually, they're already in eastern LaPorte County. If they took over all of LaPorte County, that would be a huge benefit for us. They go all the way to the Ohio line. Their headquarters for this area is in Fort Wayne. That'll tell you how close they are to the state of Indiana. And they have the generating power from their nuclear system at Bridgman, which has been totally refurbished. And as a result of that, I think you would find that we would get better rates and probably keep about the same amount of service that we have. Keep in mind, the other thing that NIPSCO does have is when these winds sweep off of Lake Michigan, we lose power lines, especially in the wintertime when you've got ice on those lines, and then the wind comes along, that really knocks them down. NIPSCO is very good about getting in there and getting those lines put back up again. But they do give good service in that situation.
Some of the best
Now, the
service.
other thing I like about INM, they have the same problem because they're on Lake Michigan also. Although it's not a direct north wind, there is westerly winds that go across there in the wintertime. They have down power lines too, and they've had a lot of experience in learning to live with those things. And they just asked for a rate cut. They went before the Indiana Public Utilities Commission and asked for a rate cut. We got to start to talk about the Utilities Regulatory Commission about possibly not the gas portion, because NIPSCO does a very good has a very good situation with their natural gas and the gas that they use through their customer base, which is about over 3 times the amount of their electric customer base. Just having the NIPSCO portion of the electrical part of NIPSCO come under INM, they could acquire, INM could acquire it, they could merge it, or they could buy it. And then NIPSCO would be able to do what they need to do if they have things they have to do in order to update even one of the better gas systems of a northern utility.
At a minimum, I think we should be allowed to buy electricity from AEP. I grew up in Springfield Township. We had I&M before it got bought by AEP, and I can tell you, when your power went out, it was a lot longer than NIPSCO. I give you that. There's lots of ways around that nowadays. No one wants their power out. But at a minimum, just like we can buy gas from somebody else, we should be able to buy electricity from AEP, because I understand NIPSCO sells electricity to REMC, and they sell it to their customers less than what we pay NIPSCO for the same electricity NIPSCO selling REMC. And there is a transportation charge on your bill, so the lines and the poles are in the transportation charge, and maybe we get a better deal. But at a minimum, we should be able to allowed to buy electricity. Now, NIPSCO, you run a letter, because I got a letter from NIPSCO too, saying they're going to change my electric meter, which scares the bejesus out of me, because we just went through this whole craziness of the meters they put in our gas that were not as well as they should be, and it's the same company putting electric meters now on our electric meters. I have 2 electric meters. I can guarantee you, and hopefully I'll be on the show, that when they come to do mine, it's going to be completely bollocksed up, because I have solar that I sell back to NIPSCO. I'm going to make a bet that when NIPSCO comes to puts these electric meters on my meter, these self meters, they will screw up my meter. They will screw up my meter that I sell power, and they'll take my power for 3 months. And there's nothing I can do about it. I can't sue them. It'd be like, hey, if I went to the gas station, filled up my gas can in my car, and just drove away for 3 months, I'd get arrested, I'd be in jail. But if NIPSCO screws up my meter, which they did when I first got solar for 2 months, I got nothing back from them. Nothing. Not even an apology, nothing. Just, oh, well, you didn't call us, or you didn't tell us. So I made free power for NIPSCO and everyone else on the grid, and they gave me nothing. And I guarantee, I can make a bet, when they switch my meters out, they're going to screw this up too, and it'll take me a bunch of phone calls and hours on the phone and scream and yell at them why they're taking my power without paying for it. And there's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, in this particular letter from NIPSCO to me, we have resolved the issue with our meters on your property. Your meter is now accurately reading your natural gas usage, and a credit has been issued to your account in the amount of 50% of the 12 bills prior to the date the issue was discovered.
How do they know? How do they know? Really?
Okay, another strike on the horizon, BP.
They're already on strike, right?
Are they on strike?
They're on strike. They were on strike before they got locked out before NIPSCO.
I really haven't finished with the NIPSCO situation.
Oh, okay.
The other situation that we're looking at with NIPSCO is because of throughout the United States, we have such a lack of the electrical power that we're going to need for the future.
Generation.
It's going to be very difficult to get rid of the NIPSCO generating station down here. Frankly, I think we're going to be able to get rid of the prison a lot sooner than we're going to be able to get rid of the generating station, because we need that electrical power. Now, the big problem in developing the west side in the West Beach is what's called the Lincoln Yard. The Lincoln Yard is where NIPSCO backs up coal cars, oilers, things like this, to take them in and offload them, bring them out.
Might as well be a brick wall. You ain't getting across.
What?
You ain't getting across those trains until they're gone.
You're saying they'll get across?
No, there's no way to get across.
That's what I'm saying.
Might as well be a brick wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because of the potential for injury, you cannot go through.
Oh, it's fenced off.
Well, but that doesn't mean you're going to keep people out. Come on, Tony.
Technically, legally, there is a right-of-way that NIPSCO's cut off that they won't let us through.
Yeah,
I don't know how they get away with that, but they do.
They do, because it's so dangerous to go through there.
All right,
but that is a problem that is going to hold us back in terms of developing the West Beach for a long time.
Probably right, because the West Beach was the biggest.
Yeah.
And when quickly, we only have a few minutes. When Dave talks about the West Side not getting something, the West Side, you're talking the 20s, 30s, 40s, was the place to be. NIPSCO wasn't there. That was the beach. That was Hoosier Slide. That was everyone went to that beach. That's why the West Side was such a glorious place to live. Why it got the first sanitary sewers. Yeah. It got first of everything. But then we put NIPSCO in the way. It choked it off. Just like we put the Boulevard, we put the Planters in the way. Choked it off. I don't know why we keep doing this, but we have something great, and then we build something in a way and we choke it off.
But I want to talk a
just
little bit
something-
about what Tony's talking about in terms of the choke-off on the boulevard. Actually, if you go out there, I was shocked. There are a number of manufacturing facilities that have come along right along Michigan Boulevard or just off Michigan Boulevard because of the access. The access to I-94.
Oh, yeah.
The access to US 20. And they can get there from their facility. Now, among those, Fiberbond, GAF. GAF has a number of installations.
The whole Woodruff Park, I think
Yeah,
it's
the
about
whole
filled
Woodruff
up.
Park. Solaire, Hitachi Solaire, all of those have located in there and seem to be very happy with that location. So what we are doing is bringing in industries, manufacturing jobs along that corridor because of the access. Now, what do we need to do to keep that moving?
Now wait, in that section of Michigan Boulevard, what is not there? There's no planters there.
There's what?
There's no planters on that section of the boulevard. There's nothing in the way.
Okay, okay, maybe we need to
Pretty
take,
obvious.
yeah, maybe we need to take out whatever is in the way of the rest of the boulevard, but that section of the boulevard, and in addition to that, you've got the aircraft field right there also. So, you know, you can get corporate executives in here if they've got a jet, and many of them do, the company owns it, you can get them in here real quickly. So, yes, it is developing. I'm not sure that the city had much to do with getting it developed, but they haven't heard it. And we can get water and sanitation there very quickly.
We got it out there. The city annex property, they did put it out there. You only got 2 minutes here. You got to close us down or get us ready to close
Happy
down.
Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, happy Passover.
Yeah.
Oh, quick, I had a question for you. The news said that they were going to have the Easter egg hunt company on Easter weekend this weekend. Well, we didn't have it for a few years. It was shut down. I didn't know that.
What was shut down?
The Easter egg. We didn't have the Easter egg hunt last few years.
Well,
Yeah, we have.
yeah,
That's
we
what
did.
I thought. I read an article that
Yeah,
says that they were bringing it back. I thought we always had
No.
it. Okay.
No, we had it.
I thought we always had it.
My grandkids were.
It's great.
Yeah.
Kids love it. That was my question for you.
Well, if it rains, they're gonna do drive-through.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there you go. You got a little over a minute.
Boy, well, again, one individual who has some concerns, don't hesitate to speak up, because you do have a voice, and eventually somebody will listen. And my issue pertaining to the water on the west side is now being addressed by the Michigan City Sanitary District, maybe a little bit late, but now they are addressing the issue. So, individual out there, don't feel ostracized and don't feel chastised for speaking up. Speak your piece and tell it like it is, and then maybe somebody will eventually listen. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your improvements or criticism of this program is greatly appreciated. Please contact show's co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Bila, or Tony Hendricks with your comments. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, Dave at djbila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emailagm@yahoo.com. Or you may direct your ideas for any future shows to our one and only staff writer, Sarah Bellum. The showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., also Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Channel 99. You may also enjoy watching our program on 99 Navigate News and Views. Have a happy Easter. Don't forget Brother Sean's sausage. There's still opportunity after Sunday Mass.
What did you say were the hours and the day?
7:30 till 1 Easter Sunday in the basement of St. Stan's Church for Brother Sean Sausage. I want to thank everybody for watching. Happy Easter, and make it a good day.